to Jonathan Taylor. Huge hole. He's at the 30. He's going to go. 10, 5, touchdown. Jonathan Taylor made a man miss the line of scrimmage and then runs it into Pater for a one-handed INT. Are you kidding me? Kenny Moore.
What a play by Nyheim Hines.
Horseshoe is back, baby. The horseshoe is back.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of the Bring the Juice Colts podcast. We're continuing today on Colts free agents, on their potential to be re-signed. And this one we think is going to be a hot topic. One guy that we have been talking about a lot over the last month on whether or not this man's going to get a new deal. Ballard even raved about him in his presser from a couple weeks back. And it's somebody that a lot of Colts Nation really has a lot of opinions on, whether they be good or bad. But we are going to talk about Anthony Walker. Okay. So this is a guy, our middle linebacker. Everybody's got some strong feelings about his production and whether or not it's smart to keep him around. Basically in a year where, you know, some decisions are going to have to get made. But the first thing on why we think that he could potentially get re-signed, this guy is the leader of the defense, whether or not people want to admit that or not. Darius Leonard and the defensive coordinators have always said, you know, Anthony Walker has been the leader of the defense. He's making sure everyone's in the right place, making sure everyone's doing the right coverages, making sure that guys are all in the right spots, reading things correctly. You know, he is the guy in the middle of the field, seeing everything, calling everything. So, you know, Anthony Walker is that guy. And, you know, if you decide to get rid of him, who takes that spot, right? So, you know, you got a guy in Anthony Walker that understands the defense and knows how guys play to their strengths. And I mean, Cody, that seems pretty reasonable for why you want to potentially bring him back.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's definitely a great leader, definitely a guy off the field and on the field that is very spoken highly of, like you mentioned. So I definitely agree with you, man. Like, Anthony Walker's been a great find in that 5th round when Ballard drafted him in 2017. People, you know, we were talking off air, people always rag on that 2017 draft, but those later rounds, those were some good ones, man. Some good picks there. Yeah. And Anthony Walker was one of those guys. You know, for a 5th round pick, he's definitely outperformed that. You know, just talking about all the stuff that he's done so far on and off the field. And that leads me to my second point, the tackle production for Anthony Walker. I have the stats pulled up here, Derek. So he didn't play much in the 2017 season. He only started 2 games, had 22 tackles. But from there on, he had 90-plus tackles in every single season, right? 2018, 105 tackles. 2019, his career high, 124 combined tackles. And then this last season, 92 tackles. So he's been fairly productive from that standpoint, right? In all the games that he's played, in the 57 games he's played, the 58 starts, he's combined for 343 tackles, 229 of those being solo. So, you know, overall, he's been a tackling machine for the Colts ever since that 2018 season. So, I mean, you can't argue with the tackle production there from Anthony Walker. He's definitely been one of those guys that has always consistently been at the top of the Colts tackle charts at the end of the season. You know, talking about how much of a leader he is. I mean, he leads by example there, right, in tackling. So that's my second point, Derek, and then we'll move on to the third point here. We've kind of mentioned it a little bit, but I'll let you talk about that third point.
Yeah, basically the third point comes to loyalty to the team and relationship with the defense. You know, I mean, this guy has been there through thick and thin of everything. You know, he was drafted when this defense was still not very good. You know, that 2018, that defense started taking a turn, but, you know, Anthony Walker was the original start of it. You know, he was the guy that had to become the leader, and, you know, a 5th round draft pick at that, and becoming your tackle leader at the beginning, and, you know, still being able to be productive and reliable, because he's not missed a lot of games due to injury for the most part. So, you know, he's been around for a while, and Darius Leonard has always mentioned, you know, Anthony Walker is the reason why I get to be the way I am. So, you know, you obviously see the relationship that those two have and the amount of respect that people have for Anthony Walker in the building. I mean, this guy definitely is a class act, a really good football player, and people absolutely love him.
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to take a pause from the video to talk about our sponsor for this video, Manscaped. Now, Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision engineering tools for your family jewels. They obsess over their technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. Manscaped is trusted by over 2 million worldwide. And we have an exclusive offer for you, our listeners. 20% off plus free shipping with the code BTJ at manscaped.com. I'll say it again with code BTJ at manscaped.com. And Derek, Manscaped hooked both you and I up with some pretty cool tools, right? I know you have one there. I have a couple here to keep it fresh down there. But Derek, I can't tell you, man, how many times, you've been down there, you've been shaving, you're trying to figure that stuff out. And
it's the worst.
It's the worst, man. It is. And Manscaped definitely is a great resource there to help you have confidence moving forward, man, and doing that. I know it's never fun, but Manscaped makes it a little bit more bearable.
Well, thankfully, Cody, I've not had any issues when it comes to that yet, thanks to Manscaped. And the best thing that I've had with that was the Lawnmower 3.0. It's the new device that helps you. It's the 3rd generation trimmer featuring a cutting ceramic blade that helps to keep you from having accidents down there. The best thing for your grooming experience. It also comes with an LED light, helps you to make sure you see where you're going. Obviously, you need that. And it's also waterproof. I don't have any water on me right now, but I would definitely show you. Helps with your shower and grooming experience. Makes it so much easier. Obviously, don't use it on your face. That's just nasty. I'm just letting y'all know that now.
Don't do that. Don't
do that. Also, guys, with your package that you would also get comes with a lot of other things that you would need to help with your grooming experience. You have Preserver and Reviver to help with the family jewels to make sure everything is fresh. And also Manscaped throws in a bunch of other things, including boxer briefs and a travel to go bag to be able to bring your stuff on the road with you. Believe me, your balls will thank you. Cody, tell them how they can get started with their Manscaped experience.
Absolutely. So 20% off and free shipping using the code BTJ, stands for Bring the Juice, BTJ at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off shipping at manscaped.com. Use the code BTJ. Unlock your confidence and always have the right tools with Manscaped.
Thank you to all of you, including Manscaped, for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out, guys, and enjoy the video. But there's the other thing, Cody, and you and I go back and forth a lot on these disagreements here with some of the negatives about Anthony Walker. But obviously, this first point, there's no denying that this one's his biggest weakness on why they may not want to bring him back.
Definitely the coverage is. He's not good in coverage. I mean, let's just be honest here. We saw in that Cleveland game that he got exposed, man. He did really badly. I mean, the Browns literally targeted him like that. At one drive in particular, they just drove down the field against him. And so, I thought maybe over time he'd get better at it, but it really hasn't shown much in terms of coverage ability. So that is definitely a big negative by Anthony Walker, especially considering there are some other linebackers, which we'll get to, that are better at coverage, right? So, that is a big question mark for Anthony Walker is, how much upside and how much growth can he have in his coverage ability?
Yeah, absolutely. It's never really been his strong suit, that's for sure. And the second point that you would mention is, with what we talked about with the tackle production and the room to grow in the coverage department, it may become a point where he may cost too much. The Colts are really going to have to start making decisions here on who are the main people to keep, right? And, as much as Ballard absolutely adores Anthony Walker, I just don't know how much we'd actually be able to give him, considering the alternative, which we're about to get to. But if somebody's going to pay this man, $9-10 million a year to be their middle linebacker of the future, which I think Cody and I both can agree that somebody probably would if he decided to test the open market, it would be difficult for the Colts to be able to do that, because there's another $10 million that the Colts really don't have once they sign, Quentin Nelson and Darius Leonard and all these guys. They're already paying Darius Leonard a giant chunk of change coming up at some point. And, Bobby Okereke, if we think he's on the path that we think he's going to go down, we think he's going to get a good payday at some point. So it's kind of the same argument we had with the offensive line. Like, how many guys can you pay a premium dollar to in order to keep? Is it that important? But I mean, Cody, we can go into the third point now on why some of the reason why we wouldn't bring it back.
Yeah, you mentioned Bobby Okereke's name. That leads me to my third point. There's other options on this roster, or also, in free agency or the draft, that you could potentially get for cheaper. You don't have to spend as much money, or if any money at all, and you could maybe fill this role maybe even better. So you mentioned Bobby Okereke. He was one of the players I talked about that had better coverage skills than Anthony Walker. I mean, he's shown that ever since he's been drafted, the 2 years he's played with the Colts. So, yeah, I think overall that's definitely another thing that the Colts are going to have to consider, because you're right. You can't pay all these guys all this money. Your cap's going to get pretty tight here pretty soon. So, saying that, I think that is going to be the biggest thing that Ballard's going to have to make the decision on, right? Is like, we like Anthony Walker, but how much do we like Anthony Walker compared to these other guys that we have on our roster, right? Like EJ Speed is a guy that's a physical freak. We just haven't seen a whole lot of him. Is it time now, after a couple of years of letting him kind of play special teams and a more of a reserve role, maybe to get more looks at linebacker, right? More of an athletic guy than Anthony Walker is, and maybe potentially has a higher ceiling. We just don't know. We haven't seen him yet. So I think for all those reasons, the Colts could potentially be looking at other options and not spending a couple million or whatever it takes to bring back Anthony Walker in 2021. So that does it for the third and final con there for Anthony Walker.
All right. Well, I mean, guys, we'll let you know. You guys can tell us in the comments how you feel about this, because, Cody and I, as much as we would really like to bring Anthony Walker back, because we still believe that he's very valuable to this team in a lot of different ways, we just feel that his worth, honestly, we definitely both think that he's worth a good chunk of cash there. And somebody's probably going to want to pay him. When you look at some of the other middle linebackers in the league and look at them, some of them getting paid, $9-10 million plus a year, you'd start to get to a point where Anthony Walker may be getting something pretty close to that. So, it's just, again, how much is it worth? How much is he worth to you guys? I mean, let us know in the comments, because I know a lot of people have said, love to keep him because he's the captain. People want to let him go because of, the coverage thing. Yeah, surprising enough. But let us know in the comments. But that is all for us on this one. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.